It's hard to even know where to begin with this. My whole world, everything I thought I knew, it just shattered into a million pieces a few days ago. The police, they found emails. Emails between my mom, Sarah, and her now ex-husband, Mark. Emails from before they even got married. And these emails, they show that my mom knew. She knew about Mark's interest in teenage girls. She knew. And the worst part? She mentioned me. She talked about me developing, how Mark would appreciate having a teenager in the house. I can barely even say it. It makes my stomach clench just thinking about it. To find out your own mother practically offered you up to a predator, there's no coming back from that kind of betrayal. It's like all the air got sucked out of the room, and I just couldn't breathe. It all started about 8 months ago, when Sarah remarried Mark. They'd only been dating a little over a year, but she was completely head over heels. I never liked him, not really. Something just felt off, you know? But Sarah, she wouldn't hear a word against him. She acted like he was this perfect guy, swooping in to complete our little family. But to me, it always felt like he was more interested in controlling things than actually being a part of our lives. My dad, Michael, he passed away from cancer when I was 12. So for 4 years, it was just Sarah and me. We weren't super close, but we had our routine, and I thought we were doing okay. I genuinely wanted her to be happy, wanted her to find someone. But I never expected her to change the way she treated me just because some guy came into the picture. The moment Mark moved in, everything shifted. He started making all these rules about what I could wear, what time I should be home, who I could be friends with, even what I posted online. He'd actually go through my Instagram and tell Sarah my pictures were inappropriate. And they were just normal photos. Me at the beach with friends, group selfies, random aesthetic shots. Nothing bad at all. At first, Sarah would kind of brush him off, say I was just a teenager. But as time went on, she started taking his side more and more. The arguments about my clothes became a daily thing. I'm not even kidding, every single day there was something wrong with what I was wearing. And I wasn't dressing in some crazy way. Jeans, t-shirts, sometimes shorts or skirts, nothing too short, tank tops, crop tops. Just typical stuff. But according to Mark, everything was too tight, too revealing, sending the wrong message. Sarah, who never used to care about this stuff, suddenly started agreeing with him. She went out and bought me all these baggy, frumpy clothes that I absolutely hated. Then she'd get mad when I refused to wear them. She kept saying I needed to dress appropriately because we were a family now, and I had to respect Mark's role as the man of the house. I was so frustrated. I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I was being treated like I was causing problems just by existing. The breaking point was a day in July. It was literally 95 degrees outside in Phoenix. I came downstairs wearing a tank top and shorts. Mark took one look at me, made this disgusted face, and then turned to Sarah. He said I needed to cover up because my outfit was distracting him. His exact words. I felt sick. That was the moment everything clicked for me. This wasn't about respect or family values. This was something else. Something way worse. Instead of realizing how insanely creepy that was, Sarah immediately flipped out on me. She said I was being disrespectful, trying to cause problems in her marriage. She actually accused me of doing it on purpose, like I was deliberately trying to make Mark uncomfortable. I couldn't believe it. I was so angry and hurt that I just exploded. I told her exactly what I thought of her husband and how disgusting it was that she was defending him instead of protecting me. We screamed at each other for what felt like forever. And that's when she said the words I will never forget: if you can't respect the rules of this house in Mark's position as your stepfather, then maybe you should find somewhere else to live. At first, I thought she was just saying it in the heat of the moment. There was no way she actually meant that, right? But the next morning, she sat me down and told me I had 1 week to figure out where I was going. She said I clearly didn't want to be part of this family. I was completely shocked. I begged her to reconsider, to at least think about what she was doing, but she wouldn't budge. She kept saying it was her house, and if I wasn't willing to follow the rules, I had to leave. I felt completely abandoned. My own mother was choosing this man over me, her daughter. I had nowhere to go. I'm 17. It's not like I could just get my own apartment. Finally, I called my Aunt Rebecca, Sarah's sister, crying. I told her everything. Thank God, she immediately told me I could stay with her. She was furious with Sarah and couldn't believe she was throwing me out. She picked me up that same day. I packed what I could into a couple of bags. Sarah barely even said goodbye. Mark didn't say a word. So, at 16, I moved out of my childhood home and in with my aunt. She lives about 30 minutes from my old neighborhood, so it wasn't like moving across the country, but it still felt like a huge change. I had to switch schools, leave my friends, basically start over. Aunt Rebecca has been amazing through all of this. Way more of a parent to me these past few months than Sarah ever was. But even though I'm in a better place, it still hurts. It hurts so much that my own mom basically threw me away like I was nothing. For the first month, Sarah barely contacted me. She sent over some of my stuff, clothes, books, but that was about it. She'd text every now and then, but it was always the same thing: are you ready to apologize and follow the rules? Not once did she admit she'd done anything wrong. After a while, I just stopped responding. It was too painful to keep going in circles. It felt like she cared more about being right than about me. Aunt Rebecca, though, she's been a rock. She helped me get into therapy, which has been a lifesaver. I've been able to talk through everything, and it's helped me start to process it all. She also talked to a lawyer. Since I'm still a minor, there were concerns about abandonment. But because I was staying with family who would care for me, and Sarah was still sending some money, not much, but enough to keep the lawyers from calling it full-on abandonment, it wasn't a clear-cut case. Still, Aunt Rebecca got temporary guardianship so she could handle school enrollment and medical decisions. Life slowly started to feel normal again. My new school is actually better. The kids are nicer, the teachers are more supportive, and I've made some really good friends. Aunt Rebecca lets me dress how I want, which, honestly, is just normal teenage stuff like jeans and hoodies, and I've never felt like I'm being policed or judged. She treats me with respect, and she actually listens when I talk. It's such a relief to feel heard for once. Then, last week, everything got turned upside down again. Out of nowhere, Sarah showed up at Aunt Rebecca's door. She looked like a complete mess. Her hair was all over the place, eyes red and puffy. She hadn't slept in days. Aunt Rebecca called me downstairs, and I could tell immediately that something big had happened. Sarah was crying, completely broken. What she told us made my blood run cold. Mark had been arrested. The police found evidence that he'd been secretly recording underage girls in the changing rooms at a community pool in Phoenix where he volunteered. And it gets worse. They also found hours of footage on his computer. And some of it was of me. In my bedroom. In my bathroom. This disgusting creep had been recording me in my own home. That's probably why he was so obsessed with what I was wearing. It makes me sick just thinking about it. Sarah swore she had no idea. She said she was just as shocked and disgusted as everyone else. But here's the kicker: she didn't come to apologize or make sure I was okay after finding out I'd been violated like this. No. She came because Mark's lawyer thought it would look good for his case if I testified as a character witness. They wanted me to stand up in court and say what a great father figure he'd been to me and how he'd never made me uncomfortable. Are you kidding me? I was absolutely speechless. After everything, kicking me out, choosing him over me, not once checking if I was okay these past months, she had the nerve to ask me to lie in court to help the man who had been secretly recording me. I couldn't even find the words to respond. Aunt Rebecca, though, she didn't hold back. She practically threw Sarah out of the house. Since then, the police have contacted me. I'm apparently one of the victims in the case, and I've had to give a statement. I told them about how Mark always commented on my clothes, how he made me feel uncomfortable, and how Sarah kicked me out after our fight about it. The detective said this information could be really important for their case. It's a small comfort knowing that I'm helping to make sure Mark can't hurt anyone else, but it's still so overwhelming. My phone won't stop blowing up. Sarah keeps texting and calling, alternating between begging me to just say a few nice things for Mark's hearing and accusing me of trying to ruin her life again. Some of her family members, not Aunt Rebecca, obviously, are also messaging me, saying I should think about what this will do to Sarah and how families need to stick together. It's like they're all forgetting that I'm the one who was harmed here. I'm the one who was violated. But somehow, it's still all about her. Then came the emails. The prosecutor explained it all. Sarah knew. And not only that, she actively participated in making me vulnerable to him. She confessed to the police that she knew Mark had an inappropriate attraction to young girls. But instead of protecting me, she thought she could manage it by making sure I dressed modestly around him. She actually tried to frame it like she was protecting me by policing my clothes. As if that makes any of this okay. It doesn't. It just makes it worse. The prosecutor told us they're now investigating Sarah. She could face charges of child endangerment, possibly even being an accessory to Mark's crimes. They've also found evidence that Sarah knew about at least some of the hidden cameras, though she's denying that part. I don't know what to believe anymore. It's like I don't even know who she is. Aunt Rebecca, bless her, immediately called her lawyer. They filed emergency papers to make sure Sarah couldn't try to regain custody of me. The judge granted a temporary order the same day, given the new evidence. I'm relieved, but it's also just so much. My whole life feels like a lie. All those years after my dad died, when I thought it was just me and Sarah against the world, was she already thinking about trading me for a new relationship? Was I just a pawn to her? The betrayal is so deep I can barely wrap my head around it. Through all this chaos, my dad's parents, my grandparents, reached out to me. They live in Florida, and we haven't been very close since my dad passed. Sarah always made it difficult for them to stay in touch. Apparently, they saw the news about Mark's arrest, the case has gotten national attention now, and recognized his name from Sarah's social media. They were horrified and immediately tried to contact me. They had a long conversation with Aunt Rebecca, and it turns out they've been sending birthday and Christmas cards and gifts all these years that Sarah never gave me. They thought I was the one who didn't want a relationship with them. I can't imagine how hurt they must have felt. They're planning to fly out next week to see me. I'm both nervous and excited about reconnecting with them. It's like a piece of my dad is coming back into my life. As for the legal side, I've decided I will testify at Mark's trial if the prosecutor thinks it will help ensure he goes to prison for a long time. The idea of being in the same room with him makes my skin crawl, but the prosecutor explained there are options like testifying via closed-circuit TV or having a screen set up so I don't have to see him. Knowing he can't harm any more kids is worth facing that fear. The case against Sarah is still developing. The prosecutor said that depending on what additional evidence they find, she could be looking at serious jail time. Part of me feels guilty about that, she's still my mom, after all. But another part feels like she deserves consequences for what she did. She knowingly put me in danger and then abandoned me when I wouldn't play along with her sick solution. Some of Sarah's family have been calling Aunt Rebecca, trying to convince her there must be some misunderstanding, that Sarah would never knowingly endanger me. Aunt Rebecca has stopped answering their calls and told me I don't have to talk to anyone I don't want to. It's heartbreaking to see family taking sides, but I'm grateful for those who are standing by me. My friends have been incredible. A few of them organized a movie night at Aunt Rebecca's house last weekend, and for a few hours, I actually felt like a normal teenager again. Those moments of normalcy are what's keeping me going right now. I know this journey is far from over. The trials haven't even started yet, and the healing process will take much longer than that. But for the first time since this nightmare began, I feel like I have solid ground under my feet. I have people in my corner who genuinely care about me and want what's best for me. I have a therapist helping me process the trauma. And I have a path forward, even if it's not the one I would have chosen. If there's anything positive I can take from this horrible situation, it's the knowledge that I'm stronger than I thought I was. And maybe someday, when all of this is behind me, I can use my experience to help other kids who find themselves in similar situations. What would you have done in my position, knowing what my mom did?